lost, I feel I'm just lost, I feel I need time to heal. I can't steer the wheel, cause this drive it kills, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real, I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and feel. I'm just lost, I feel, I'm just lost, I feel I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel. Cause this drive it kills, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold. Cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost.
What's up? Hey! What's up, everybody? I guess I could probably keep playing some music in the background. That's like my jam. This is like, oh, that's a little loud. Yeah. That's a little loud. Hey, I do look different. It's been so long. No lake time. I just got back from the lake this morning. I was up north at the lake for a couple days. Now I'm vibing. I know. What's up, Mrs. Lucifer? Thank you for stopping by. Better grow that mustache back. Don't remind me, winter. Oh, is Banter gonna be Candor? I don't know. Have I gone soft? I don't know. Babyface Antor, that's me. That's me. I do, Columers in chat. Oh, let's go. Woo! Let's bring the spice. Yeah, no mustache. Although, I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Maybe I need to bring it back. I keep getting, some people are telling me I should grow it back. You got other people who are telling me not to. It's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know where to go. Coach Antor, more like Coach Handsome. Oh, thank you. Hey, Chris. I said hi to her. I'm sorry. She typed it all caps. Well, actually, you did too. But it was before I was on camera. So, sorry. What's up? WBB? Am I allowed to say your real name? Neon's here. What's up? Playing Fortnite? I am not playing Fortnite. Not right now. Maybe I'll play after this, though. Maybe I'll play after this. No one wants to watch me play games. So, like, my streams are basically just ranting about collegiate esports. And then we all leave. And then I can go play games horribly. So, but yeah. Oh my, it's almost been a full year since I've streamed, which is crazy. And a lot has happened. I shaved all facial hair, besides, I guess my eyebrows and eyelashes are still there, if we're calling it that. But nothing, none of this. This is all gone. Since the last stream, I've lost 30 pounds. I've been running. If anyone runs, let's start a group of the probably few esports people who work out. I mean, run. There's quite a few that'll go to the gym and lift or climb, like those Maryville folks like climbing. But yeah, I like running. I've been doing a lot of running. Ran 5 miles today. What's up, Sheriff Toast? Septilence is, oh my gosh, this is great. I appreciate everyone who for stopping by. Hopefully we don't, I don't know how spicy we'll get today. We'll see. We'll see how I feel, you know? I am no longer in the competitive side outside of coaching the Ferris Rocket League team, so does that mean I can be spicier or less spicy? I don't know yet. Colomer will be the spice. Fantastic. Great. Great. New Antor, who dis? That's me. That's the new Antor right here. We're right here. Had to join the stream? Of course. I appreciate you stopping by. Oh, wow. Armor class. It's been a minute. Means I can be spicy for sure. All right. Cool. Well, I got a couple topics here. We got a packed schedule. I'm going to kind of hop in a little bit, but the first topic was I'm back. It's been a year. I got to update everybody. The last time I was on stream, I was in Florida. I don't live in Florida anymore. Left Florida Southern, and moved back to Michigan. I am now, the official title is assistant professor at Ferris State University, within their professional esports production major. So I teach esports now, and it is sick. Yeah, it's a fancy title. It's being on the faculty side of academia is a different beast. It's interesting and great in a lot of ways. I had my first week of classes last week. I'm also teaching 2 sections of intro to game design, which is fascinating. But teaching was awesome. It's been great. The major that I'm in, the esports production major, is actually fully online. So all my courses for esports are online, which is fascinating as well. Teaching intro to esports, one section of that online, and then I'm teaching a intro to esports event management online, which is a 1 credit hour course where basically we go over the basics of running an esports event, and then the students run an esports event themselves. So that'll be cool. Sea Salt Skyline, this ad has got me wanting pizza. Oh, yeah, sorry about ads, you know, Twitch these days. Maybe we'll swap somewhere else. I don't know. It's a lot of things have changed in the last year since I started since I streamed. Erky, bro, you've had like a couple days. Where's the stash? I just shaved again. I don't know. I like the baby face. I look young. I look full of life, full of energy, ready to take on the world, you know? Antor on Kick, probably not Kick, is my guess, but I don't know. I don't know where I should be. I think YouTube would probably be cool, but does anyone watch live stuff on YouTube? Probably not. But I upload my stuff onto YouTube after my Twitch streams. I don't know. Get that bag on Kick. Yeah. I'm waiting for that bag, you know? Maybe at some point when I like prove again that I can do this regularly, which I will be, hopefully every week, I can maybe loop in some sponsors or something. I don't know. I feel like my numbers are low, but everyone who tunes in is like super dedicated to like collegiate esports and has spending power. Like we have directors in chat. Like there are people who want to talk to you all. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think there's a market there, but should be, I don't know. Who knows? I don't really need money off this. This is like my fun thing. I'm also going to use this as evidence in my tenure portfolio. I'll have to apply for tenure in 5 years, which means that basically how it's been explained to me and my entire life is like it's almost impossible to fire a professor who has tenure, basically. But the first 5 years is a lot of like doing a ton of extra stuff on campus and then research and stuff like that. So most of us come from Antor server. My server has popped off, okay? And I don't know, people like keep it going and have their own conversations. I don't even have to like jump in and answer questions before, like as soon as someone answers a question, there's like 6 people answering, and it's super awesome. That job board, I'm trying to start keeping track of how many people get jobs from that job board, but that thing has been awesome. And it's not a ton of work for me, and I'm glad it's super helpful for a lot of people. Somebody in here, what up, McBunny? How's it going? Former student, Aquinas. What's my favorite color? Favorite colors? That's a great question. I don't know. Green. There's a specific shade of lime green from Minecraft from wheat growing that I just love. I don't know what the name is or anything, but that is like my favorite color. But then like red and blue kind of get mixed in there somewhere. I don't know. When's the doctorate getting issued? I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I want to get a doctorate at some point, but I want it to be paid for, and I don't know. We'll see. Yes, and everyone will call me Dr. Antor at that point. I'm glad the Discord. Oh, the Discord link doesn't even work. Let's fix that before I like really jump into things, or at least like post the Discord. I definitely have that posted somewhere. Because what was so interesting is like this week there was just a large number of new Discord people who joined, and I was like, where did that come from? Because I didn't push it anywhere. Former student turned Overwatch coach turned high school program head. Oh, congrats. I didn't realize that last part. That's awesome. But I need a pic of that green. Okay, I'll find a pic of that green. All right, so let's hop into collegiate esports. Let's stop talking about me. I'm sick of that. What do I have on my agenda here? The timeline spice of the week. All right, so like real quick, this is gonna be a segment I'm gonna just keep on as like one of my first segments. Is like it's gonna be called something like timeline spice of the week, and we're gonna be talking about what fired off on the Twitter timeline this week that got some traction. In case you missed it, although most of the people in this chat probably did not miss it, and probably were either initiators of the spice or made it blow up. So speaking of caliber being in chat, one of the first ones here we got was Ole Miss losing access to the Riot servers. I don't think it's just Ole Miss. I think it's basically every state institution in Mississippi. The legislature of Mississippi voted to ban websites or software from a specific number of Chinese companies, one being Tencent, which, as most of you probably know, or maybe you don't, owns Riot Games, which Riot Games owns League of Legends and Valorant. So this past week, Ole Miss found out that they lost access to those, to being able to play those on their campus, which is crazy. The legislature banned it on state-operated networks, which includes state institutions like University of Mississippi, Mississippi State University, etc. I asked Warhood, who is the director at Ole Miss, Colomer's the league coach, although you might have another title, I'm not totally sure. I asked on Saturday if there was any update. Warhood said, last I heard, they reached out to the chancellor to petition the governor to grant an exemption to games. Because I would think that would be a problem that a lot of students would be angry at, not just the esports team. So hopefully we see that happen. someone on Twitter said something along the lines of it happened in their state. I don't remember which state it was, but they said that because Riot or Valorant wasn't specifically listed in the bill in that specific state, they could go ahead and allow it. I don't know. It's very odd. It could go so many different ways, and then if they get around it, it could get challenged in court. I don't know. I'm so glad I don't have to mess with that. I feel for those players and that those like all the schools in those states that are state ran, because that sounds like a freaking nightmare. Septilence is taking a Twitter break. All right, that's probably smart. Lugnuts is in chat. What's up? Yeah, so that was massive. I just quote retweeted Collimer and it already got like 36,000 views on my retweet, which is crazy. It got some traction, got some other retweets about it because I think it's a pretty big deal. But that's that one. The next one that hit basically the same day or maybe the next day was NACE's announcement on a new conference within Varsity Premier of their competition that is all D1 schools. Basically, the University of Kansas pushed out this announcement that they were in a new conference, listed all the schools in it, and that got a lot of traction. That got a lot of conversation. I think there's a lot of people on both sides of this. Of kind of how they're feeling about this thing. I was the head of the competition council when conversations around this type of thing started back in spring. Honestly, like we had D1s who came to us saying like we only want to play D1s. And NACE is like, well, we like the idea of like hosting conference competition where schools could pick the schools that they play against. So let's use this as the pilot. So that's kind of what happened. It got voted on by the competition council who approved it. And basically they said, all right, this is the pilot for a preset conference for schools that opted in. And it just happens to be all D1 schools. Those D1 schools, for the most part, a couple of them are pretty competitive and some are one or two of the game titles. But for the most part, like, when you look at it from a D1's perspective, let's take Michigan State because they're right down the road. Like, Michigan State playing Maryville University is a lose-lose for Michigan State. When we look at the admins of Michigan State and the people who approve budgets, because like for us esports people, like that's a great matchup. Like you want to play Maryville because you want to be the best. But Michigan State admins are like, if you beat Maryville, like they're a no-name school, you should beat them. If you lose to Maryville, it's like an embarrassment. So that's where the D1s were kind of coming from, is like they were trying to fight for additional funding, and playing bigger schools that their admins have heard of is a positive. So, hey, Warhood's in chat. I just talked about Ole Miss and gave a little update. So the update you sent me. Glad to know NACE didn't push that narrative and it was the schools that wanted it. Yeah, it was definitely the schools that wanted it. Because I mean, for NACE, like NACE wants the D1s to be playing in Varsity Premier with everyone else. Like they want to be able to, you look at it from a business perspective, like NACE Star League wants to put those big schools on streams. And you don't want to have them like sequestered into one conference and then like only be showing that one conference. Like it doesn't make sense for them, but it's something that the schools actually wanted. So it's interesting. I think the positive that I put into my tweet that I believe is like we're seeing leagues that are listening to their schools that are participating and actually like testing new ideas and like shifting focus and doing things that the schools are requesting, which I think is a super positive for the space, and something we don't see in a ton of other leagues, especially the developer leagues. So what are the sides? The sides are basically like you've got the people who are like, this is cool, the D1s are getting what they want, or they want to try this, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The other side is looking at it like, oh, the D1s get this special conference where they don't have to play each other. And like, if I'm like I used to direct the Aquinas program. Like if I'm Aquinas, like I want to play Michigan State because I want to go stomp them and then go to my bosses and be like, I beat Michigan State. So there's that, but also like you don't want to, it almost looks from the outside like you're sequestering folks or institutions into their own conference based on their traditional athletics makeup and not their esports performance. And I saw that, I know David Kirk was a big vocal one on Twitter on that perspective. Since Michael Brooks, the executive director of NACE, came out with a statement kind of explaining like, hey, the school's asked for this. It's a pilot, etc. And then when David saw that, he retweeted it, I think today, and said like, hey, I like this. This makes more sense. Yeah, it's a change. It's a change. It's a lose for MSU if they play us at Michigan too, except Smash. Fair. But what's interesting is that conference, basically, like, it's the same as any other, like, conference in NACE Varsity Premier, where, like, the top 1 or 2 teams that qualify out of that conference will then enter the national playoff to go to play everyone else, or the top teams, to try to make it to the national championship. So, like, once they get past that conference, there's no special treatment at all, and they still have to fight through small schools to get to that national championship. So I don't know. It's interesting. The playoffs could be skewed if those chosen conferences become better than a regular conference. This is absolutely true. Like this conference, it'll be interesting to assess the conference strength after all the conferences for Varsity Premier are made, which I think we might be able to do that, or at least the Comp Council would, is to see, like, is this conference actually stronger or weaker than the other conferences based on average strength? That would be interesting. It might vary by game. My guess is it's probably going to end up being about the same, if not slightly weaker. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think definitely I'd be really interested to see. You think RL is stronger? I think the conference seems to have like it seems to be heavier on the strong side, but then like also heavier on the weaker side. So like I think you have, when we talk about Rocket League, like there's 2 schools. I don't remember which ones. I know Ole Miss is one, but there's another one where like you have 2 probably top 8 teams out of NACE Varsity Premier are in this one conference, which is really high. But then I would be interested to look at where if how many of the teams within the conference outside of those 2 teams are below the average. That would be where I'd be like maybe thinking it could be. But again, it'll vary by game too. But it'll be interesting to look. I might have to look at that. So let's talk. What do I have next? I have about 10 minutes before I'm having Kurt Kim on from Co-College and NECC to talk about their new top division and to release some teams that made specific divisions, which I'm really excited to be able to share. But my 10 minutes here, what I wanted to talk about was related to the D1 thing. Is like one of the most exciting things one of the things that I'm most excited about from a collegiate esports perspective over the last year is the investment and increase in resources at the D1 level. I think it's really difficult to argue that these massive state institutions don't bring a level of legitimacy to esports and truly like drive part of the future of it. I think for the most part in the last couple of years, smaller schools have driven collegiate esports to where it's been. But I think the next chapter, honestly, is going to come from bigger institutions. And what we've seen in the last 3-4 years, when we talk about a D1 getting into esports, it was always like, oh, they're giving someone in rec sports a part-time job as director of esports. That kind of sucks. This isn't the investment we were hoping for from a D1 perspective. But in the last year, what we're seeing is like more full-time jobs. And we're also seeing like those positions that were part-time or like half and half, they're hiring people that are from esports. So like in that, what I throw out for that example is Kevin Palmer at Michigan. he comes from being directing an esports program, and now he's at the University of Michigan as the head of intramurals and esports. But now we see this person who's coming from esports versus the last person who was there came from intramurals. So we're seeing this shift. And what happens when we have that shift is we have people like Kevin who decide, like, I want to invest heavier than we have been and put more emphasis into esports than we have been doing. And we start seeing a legitimacy from those schools, even if the investment isn't the same when we talk about scholarships or anything else at this point. I'm going to try to catch up on this chat. I just talked a lot, but having been at a D1, Division 1 basically represents the schools with the largest theoretical access to resources. Yep. D1 matters more than, when I talk about D1, I'm not necessarily talking about athletics. Like most, if not all of these programs are not under athletics. But when I say D1, I'm talking about the size of the institution. Most D1s, when I talk about a D1 like Michigan State University, we're talking about a school of 30 to 40,000 students versus like I was at Aquinas, that was 1,600 students. I was at Florida Southern, that was about 3,200 students. Like these are small institutions, but when we start talking about 30, 40,000 students, that's a very significant chunk of resources. This makes a lot more sense than I was understanding. So D1 isn't necessarily tied to performance. Correct. Yeah. D1 is only a word or a terminology made up by the NCAA from an athletics perspective to like determine how good you are athletically. But for the most part, when I talk about, and I believe part of that is enrollment size, but when I'm talking about D1, I'm talking about like institution level. And then esports, there's not a D1 esports. People ask all the time, like, are we a D1 esports program? Doesn't make sense. No, there's no D1 esports. There's no D2 esports. It's just esports. All right. Those are the boomers. Power 5 schools Power 5 is the best wording I found. That's also could be, I should honestly put, or go into like the definition on some of these. Power 5 is one you could do. And that's related to the Power 5 conferences of the NCAA, which are typically very large schools as well. So other categories can be research, like UC was a D1 research and sports school. That's also, maybe I should use, I don't know if I use that. You could do research institutions. Miles, welcome. I mustache you a question. It's interesting because smaller schools that only started investing recently in esports are on a clock before the established resources of D1 block the sun. It will be harder for small schools. I think long term it might be, but we're still like the investment from the D1 level, like maybe there's a couple schools putting in significant investment, but for the most part, it's not close. And I don't think there's movement in most of those institutions to get to that level. I mean, yeah, just knowing some of the resources that the D1s in my region, it's like scholarships specifically, like if we're talking about like a $5,000 scholarship for a student, like that's a big deal for a D1. Whereas you've got a lot of schools that are given much more from a smaller school perspective. And I think we're a long way away from that. I think it has to get under, I think these programs have to get under athletics before they start talking about those big numbers in terms of scholarships and resources. And I don't see that happening in the next couple years at least. Although I could be wrong. I don't know. I think another one we can look at right now and watch, see how it goes, is Joey G, who just got hired by Syracuse as their executive director of esports. He will oversee not only the competitive program, but also their academic program that they're building. It'll be interesting to see what the resources look like for that program. Comes down to difference in goals. Smaller schools, I think, will always be focused more on winning than larger state schools. I don't know if they'll always be. I think smaller schools will always be focused on enrollment, recruitment. I mean, they will never change, and whatever they have to do to get that enrollment and recruitment is what they'll do. And I think typically, especially right now where we are in the space, I think winning is a really easy way to boost that enrollment. But again, I don't think smaller schools, on average, when you look outside of the director or coach, smaller schools don't care if you're winning. It's just the director that cares. the D1s will bring in ad revenue to the environment. Everything else will follow. Quite possibly, yes. There's always a potential where it doesn't. I mean, let's throw out another example like water polo. Like there are D1 schools with water polo, but they're not bringing in viewership that's bringing in ad dollars. So like there's a potential where esports, specific sports within esports, don't have the viewership that could bring in a ton of ad revenue. But there's also a possibility that it could. Especially as like years go on and alumni graduate but still are connected with esports. UC didn't give a F about recruiting a single student. Yep. Only want to use esports to increase the likelihood. Yes, for sure. What would you suggest a program like Arizona State do where the school won't fund or support until they join athletics, but athletics won't let them in? That's a tough one. It's really tough. Honestly, it's find someone on campus, like a group on campus that sees value in it, or like look at it from a different perspective. Like look at it outside of winning. What can esports do? That's where, I mean, honestly, it usually ends up at a D1 under rec sports, because recreation, student involvement, it could be under student life from a student involvement perspective. We've seen things like even Mizzou, when they started esports, it was under residence life, which is weird. I don't think they're there anymore. I'd have to ask Colin, but you just don't see it under athletics. I don't know if there's any D1 that's under athletics right now. Realize as well, a lot of schools have other sports to balance out Title IX, for sure. Also differentiate between research intensive institutions, those who are not. I know our admin want esports to produce. There's a lot of, I know even at Ferris, there's a lot of talk about research opportunities. And I know the D1s and larger schools also saw esports. Like if we have an esports program, there's so many research opportunities that we can do with other departments. And I know Ohio State used that in their initial planning, etc. You're using D1 and big interchangeably, and then everyone else is small. St. Clair has 15,000 students, bigger than some schools with D1 athletics. Where did that put us? No idea. The Canadian schools are also different because you all don't even have the NCAA designation. So I think the question with St. Clair is like how many of your students are online or commuter? And maybe, I mean, there's probably a better way to determine this. Like it's a student volume, but also a resource volume. When I'm thinking about, when I use the term D1, although again, it's not a correct terminology. I just don't know how else to describe it effectively. I don't know. That's tough. We've got a couple minutes before I got to get Kurt on here. I got to get Kurt's link. Yeah, but the increase in resources from those big institutions, I think really excites me. And I think, yeah, I don't know. It's just awesome. It's awesome to see people who are from an esports background or have ran other programs coming into these D1s as well, because it shifts the focus. Like even if admins at these D1s aren't interested in winning or recruiting or building more esports stuff than what's already there, like these individuals have that desire. And I mean, a lot of us were the driving force behind the smaller schools doing more than just recruiting students, you know? And that's exciting. Okay, let's see if I can get this dude in here. Allow access. Oh, I just put you on the wrong side. 1 second. Okay. Let me hop in. I'm gonna hop into a voice call. Let's see. Let's see if I can get Kurt. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm going to push him over here. Happy Labor Day.
Yes, you as well.
Did you do anything exciting this weekend?
I went to the Iowa State UNI football game. I'm a UNI grad, so
How did that go?
not well, not well at all for UNI. It was really
Okay.
hot too, so it was like
Ooh.
93 degrees. So
Yikes. Yikes. Well, we were just talking about D1 conversation was kind of what was happening in chat. And I think a lot of people are running with that right now. So I'm going to let them keep running with that. But we're going to be talking about NECC. So first of all, introduce yourself and what college you're
yeah,
from. Go
yeah.
for it.
My name's Kurt Kim. I'm the director at Co College. We're located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We're a Division III school.
Nice. I got to show you
So
this.
representing the small schools.
I got my co-college merch right here.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this, but my grandpa's name was Co before, and he played and coached basketball growing up. And when he passed away, my mom bought everyone in our family Co college basketball shirts. I had never heard of the college, didn't know where it was. This was before I was in esports. And then I met you and I was like, "Oh, I've heard of that school." And that was cool.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
I've got, it doesn't fit anymore. It's too big. So I don't know. Yeah. So what's your role at NECC?
Yeah, so I'm on the competition committee.
Nice. And how long have you been doing that?
This will be, I think they started the committees like the second half of last semester, the spring semester. So going into our first full year of having the competition committee. So I was part of the original. So
Okay. And we are here to talk about the Legends division. And I'm
yeah,
going
yes.
to, let's see if I can pull up. I'm gonna just pull up the press release about this division first. But if you want to like start talking about the division,
Yeah.
you can go for it.
So as part of the competition committee, we're always looking to obviously get better in our competition side. Um, NECC wasn't always taken seriously at the top division. A lot of the competition overlaps with developer tourneys at the end of the year. That's an issue with a lot of leagues. So we decided to revamp the Legends division to be like an invite slash application division, inviting the top teams and letting anyone else that thinks they can cut it in the Legends division to apply. Um, and then uh, we also wanted to make sure at the end of the year there's less likely to overlap with developer tourneys or other large national tournaments like CECC. So that way we're not getting forfeits at the end of the year because they're at big national tournaments or developer tournaments. And then we also implemented the relegation system with this as well. This is pretty much brand new to esports from my understanding. We haven't really seen that in any leagues. So the bottom teams in the Legends at the end of the fall season will have to play in a relegation tournament to make it back. And then the top teams from our Champions division, which is the one right below Legends, will get an invite to this relegation tournament for a chance to get moved up. This will also help make the Legends division the best it can possibly be, keeping those top teams in that top division. And if you don't belong, you won't be in it in the end. And then also, it allows teams that weren't in the fall, but maybe just play in the spring, they can play into that tournament as well to see if they belong up into that Legends division.
Nice. Hats off the NECC. Like we talked about with the NACE announcement on the D1 schools. Like I love that. Like we have leagues that are listening to schools and actually like doing new things to try to address those problems. I think it's super awesome. And I think this is another one of those examples. Gloob is asking, Gloob's in chat. Gloob is asking my thoughts on the new website. I think it looks clean. I love it.
I do too. I'm glad we finally we got an NECC website now. It looks great. It just launched like last week, I think.
I didn't have any problems finding this announcement on the Legends division. I did first look under the about if there was going to be a drop down and then like about the Legends division, but there wasn't. There's my one piece of feedback. But the news, I found it. I'm really interested to see how it looks and develops throughout the season when we look at like standings and schedule and stuff. But overall, website looks clean. I like
Yeah,
it.
from my understanding that because we went to League OS, that it potentially can link in with our website to like show standings and stuff, which
Nice.
would be cool.
Nice. I'm excited to watch League OS too. I know a couple leagues have used League OS. I've met those folks. They're awesome. And I know there's a couple of high school teams who are also using League OS or high school state groups. So that'll be cool. I'm excited. I'm reading chat here, Gloob. I will send Antor a leak of what that will look like. Great. Yeah. Cool. All right. So what did you come here to do?
Yeah, so I got permissions from the uppers, Jacob and Caleb, to leak some of the teams that have been confirmed. There are some that I'm not going to say because they're not 100% in, but we got a pretty good list of different of our 4 different titles. Saving Overwatch for last because Overwatch is my favorite. Bias there, but yeah, kind of starting with Valorant. I don't know. Are you gonna put up?
Yeah, I'll put them up.
Okay, awesome.
Here's this one. Let's talk
So
about it.
yeah, NECC Legends Valorant. These are the confirmed, from what I've been told. I'm not in like right in it, like confirming these, but I got a spreadsheet that says these are confirmed. We got I always miss if it's blind or blind. Blind.
I think it's
I think
Blinn.
it's blind. Blinn. I always get that one mixed up.
Good.
Blinn, Winthrop, Northwood, Maryville, St. Clair, Fisher 1, which I'm sure they'll call it something else, Mizzou, Converse, TAMU Maroon, Columbia, Ottawa Braves, U Ottawa, TMU 1, and then Missouri Baptist. And then there were 6 other schools that were almost certain, but we haven't got them 100% yet. And from my understanding, Valorant will be the largest Legends division.
Yeah, I saw in the release
it was
that there
already
are different amounts of teams in each game.
yeah.
But this I don't know Valorant that well, but I know that most like these teams on the list are pretty good from what I've been told.
Yeah, I know the NECC was already one of the top leagues for just Valorant alone,
Right.
not always the other titles, but Valorant, man, it was great teams even just last year. So
I
the
think
Legends is gonna be fun.
Gloob's knowledge of the Valorant scene and connections kind of helps with that, I'm sure. But
Oh yeah,
I think
sure.
it's pretty known that NECC has a really strong presence in Valorant. Yeah. So Gloob also said that there's more teams that have been accepted since this list. So if you're a team that hasn't not on this list but think you should be, maybe you've been accepted. I don't know. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this Valorant list?
I'm excited to. I mean, there's some big names in there. Obviously, there's some that when you just look at like we're talking like D1s and like notable names, like some of them you don't like. Missouri Baptist is not a notable name in like a whole lot of other things, but they're in here for Valorant. So I'm
True.
looking forward to these smaller schools that I'm sure there's even more that are confirmed that we haven't seen, in a lot of the other titles. Obviously, our Northwood, Maryville, St. Clair, Fisher, Mizzou, they're all going to be solid because they're always solid
For sure.
but there's
Nice.
at the top of Valorant. It's not a whole lot of difference. So
Yeah.
there's going to be some good competition.
I mean, just like the goal of it was like you're gonna have like fantastic matches every week. It sounds like an exhausting semester, but
Yeah.
super exciting. Like there's no off week. I don't believe when we talk about this this new Legends division. So it's cool.
For sure. League of Legends is next. To be honest, League of Legends isn't my forte. I know you dealt with a little bit more League of Legends when you're definitely at Florida Southern and Aquinas. But we got less teams in League of Legends currently. It may be only like an 8 school. We'll see. We always want more, but we want the top teams. So we're not going to just add teams to have teams.
For sure.
We want those top teams to be the best.
Yeah, I mean these are top 16 teams in NA, at least in CLOL. So, yeah, I mean, these are teams you know of. I mean, Fisher, Winthrop, here they're on the screen now, but SLU, Ole Miss, Northwood, ISU, Grandview. I don't know where all of them finished last year, but I mean, these are top 16, top 8 teams in CLOL. We got Gloob says there's a soft confirm of Maryville. Oh, dang. Ooh.
Love to see that.
No, that's cool. That's awesome. That's a strong lineup for League of Legends for sure. And it seems like there's a let's not just let in diamond teams or even low masters teams. Like these are high master plus teams.
Yeah. So the biggest trouble with Legends in the past was you have your top teams. Like we had a cutoff of SR, right? So if like you were, let's say in Overwatch, you were GM, you were in Legends.
Right.
There's a big difference between being GM5 and being Maryville.
Right. Yeah.
So they're trying to be a little bit more selective of who they want in.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, and so Rocket League is next. Again, I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about Rocket League, but I know Northwood's got a couple teams in there, and they've always been at the top of the national tournaments and international tournaments. So we got 2 Northwood teams: Fisher Navy, Columbia College, West Virginia, St. Edwards. To be honest, I've never heard of St. Edwards, and that might be me overlooking something. Evidently not.
No, they're from my understanding. Like when I think of St. Edwards, I think Call of Duty. Like, and I've never had a Call of Duty team.
Okay,
but
yeah,
like a couple of their coaches and director like are super active on Twitter, so they'll be in some the spice that happens about collegiate esports. But I believe Call of Duty is like one of their big bread and butter. I'm interested to see them on the Rocket League list. I didn't know if they were good or not, but most of these other teams are usually like CRL level.
Yeah.
So this is like the best of the best. That's definitely,
and that's what we wanted to provide as like CRL level competition for them to be ready for like CRL and stuff like that.
Nice.
And then Ole Miss and UTD to not miss out on them.
Right. And Ole Miss, the Rocket League people tell me Ole Miss is going to be like an insane team. Again, I haven't been following stuff, but yeah, they're like 3 pro players, and they're like, Ole Miss is going to run away with everything. And I'm like, okay, that's what they say about other schools every year. I don't know. I thought Northwood was like all pro players, but now they're like, no, Ole Miss, new level. Like, okay.
Well, not to put a dagger into their hearts, but at least they can play Rocket League. Right, on there.
That's fair. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Pog is asking, or Chu is asking, when did Adam shave? I shaved my stash 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It was getting old. I wanted to try something new. Look, I look young, active, ready to take on things. Energy. Yeah. All right. Now your title. Let's talk about it.
All right. So Legends Overwatch, we are trying to get to 16 teams. I think that's what Gloob wanted. And we're really close to it. So this is the year of Fisher. To be honest, Fisher Wisps, Fisher Chips, and Fisher Men. All top 20 teams in my opinion. I had 2 of them. I'm on the ranking system or the ranking committee as well. I listed 2 of them pretty low. I put actually Fisher Wisp at number 1 preseason. And then you got Northwood, Rutgers, UTD, UCSD, Converse, Arizona State, Iowa Wesleyan, who last year wasn't a top team, but evidently this year they got like a top 500, top 100 team.
Nice.
Brian Stratton and St. Clair. 2 more Blue Bloods. I don't know. Fisher, not 3 confirmed yet. Okay. So 2 for confirmed. My bad. 3 if we probably want to get to 16, I'm guessing. 2 more Blue Bloods. There's 2 there's 2 teams that that we know and hear of every year. We're
Blue
waiting
Bloods,
to
is that
see.
the name for like Northwood Fisher? I don't know what Blue
Yeah,
Bloods
yeah.
means.
Blue Bloods in Overwatch is like, yeah, you're like
Oh, they're like normal. Okay.
normal up there in the
Got it.
top
I thought meant Blue Blood
10.
because like blue, their mascot's blue.
Oh,
Okay.
no, 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 no,
Got
no.
it. Got it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, top of the team.
Got it.
Uh,
Got it.
Maryville, I don't know if that was also soft confirmed for Overwatch.
Also
Okay,
soft
Maryville,
confirmed for
soft confirmed.
Maryville.
That was one of them. That was one of the teams I didn't put up there because it
I
wasn't
mean,
100% confirmed.
if Dan needs to be involved in these conversations, that's not going to happen because he got married last night and he's heading into his honeymoon. So like, hopefully someone else at Maryville can do that communication. But
And then we know that there's another very notable name missing there that is that we're trying to get in, but we're not sure. It will maybe this semester, or maybe they'll try to play into next semester. And I know a couple other are on the application side of getting their names in. Um, some names that haven't been in the scene this past year, but now have retooled and have gotten players back. So I know Caleb and I are hoping for 16. I would love 16 solid teams here in Overwatch.
that'd be cool.
And it'll be the best league besides like your developer leagues.
Here's
in my
a
opinion.
here's a question
So,
from Lugnuts in chat: is what's the thought process on allowing more than one team from a school into the Legends division?
we just want the best of the best, and I think, unless Caleb has a better answer, we want the best teams. We want the best competition. I think if we start putting limits on it, it one, you potentially lose those schools because you're not going to allow those other teams to move down into like Champions Division because then they're just going to run that division. If they belong in Legends Division, then they should get to compete.
Makes sense to me. I get it. Yeah. I mean, some of these second teams and third teams are way better than
They're
first teams of other schools. Like I can't argue with that. So
yeah.
There's Palmer's
Fisher has I think Fisher has like 7 Overwatch teams or something. Not all to the higher caliber, but yeah, they're going in on the esports there at Fisher.
Yeah. I forgot the number. The last number I heard, like 200 something students in their program or something. 8 Overwatch teams. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
crazy. I mean, it's all because of their business model. I mean, that's just what they do. And I mean, anyone who's in small school athletics or esports knows, like, if you have the luxury of having like an average discount rate within your program, it means, yeah, you can go give a couple full rides, but that means you need that many equal students paying full tuition on the other side to balance it out. And that's basically the business model there. It's similar to what I had at Aquinas, to be honest. I just did not have the my bosses and I did not have the kahunas to just like go give 5 full rides and be like, all right, now we got to find 5 full paying students. And I don't know if it's the smartest move either, to be honest, but it's working for them. They're like, let's get the best of the best, and then bunch of people will come in and want to play with those people. So, yeah, they're a crazy amount. I mean, Northwood's program is also like at 100 and 200 students, and it's like over 10% of their entire student body is their esports program. Like that's crazy. That's insane. I don't know. It's baffling to me. But yeah, it works.
we're excited for this because like anything, like you're more on the NACE side, I'm on the NECC side, and I think between at least those two and some of the others, like you can find what you want in a league. And NECC isn't going to be for everyone. NACE isn't going to be for everyone. But I think each one brings its own unique style and unique something to esports. And I like that the NACE kind of went to that D1 type of thing. They allowed those teams that wanted to compete against each other.
Yeah.
That's what they want. You kind of have to form to like what the schools want. And we want to try to hopefully have some of the top teams be able to have that week in and week out competition where they're not just pub stomping teams.
For sure.
They're having that competition. So
And
I'm really looking forward to it.
I think it's great. I think both of those two ideas from NACE and NECC are aimed right at problems that we consistently hear from certain directors and certain schools. And I think what we'll see is probably similar solutions from both leagues for those same problems. So I think as we've gone over the couple years, we've seen kind of leagues get pretty close to being similar with some small differences. And I think that's because this is what programs want. This is what schools want. We're not seeing crazy new innovative formats or league types. We're not seeing a full school year long league. Like, it's because leagues are listening to what schools want and they're doing that. So we're seeing similarities. I mean, and we saw a similarity when Varsity Plus for NACE was created. It was very similar to NECC's structure with like skill-based ranking. I mean, I said it when they first announced it, like NECC does it better. But it's the same problems that all schools are facing. So I think it's a really cool, positive thing to see. And I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm sure we'll get feedback pretty quick from the schools participating, whether it's good or not. Most likely, if we hear about it, it's probably not positive. And if we don't hear about it, it's the greatest thing that they've competed in. So that's just how collegiate esports works. Yeah. Any final thoughts? I want to thank you for hopping on. And I'm excited to watch the season.
I appreciate you having me on. One quick shout out. Evidently, there is big news dropping from the NECC at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Even I don't know what it is. So stay tuned to Twitter for that. So
spicy. Cool.
Yeah,
that's
see
exciting.
What it does.
Who knows? We'll be glued to the Twitter sphere for sure. Cool. Well, thank you again for joining, and I look forward to watching the season and seeing how it goes.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. I'm going to drop out of that Discord call. Oh, Gloob has been sending me messages. Oh my gosh. Leaks for the website. You want me to leak this? You want me to leak all this stuff? I got some screenshots of the website. I'm going to take off my headphones here because I don't want to be wearing those. Although now we got to fix the hair a little bit. We got to throw up bring back my music a little bit. I need some background music. Have that set on repeat. Yeah. All right, cool. Embrace the dent. Embrace the dent. No, we can't embrace the dent. All right. Gloob is saying, sure, why not? Okay. Well, I have some screenshots from what the website's going to look like. Let's take a peek. Let's do it. This is pretty cool. I like it. Screen and webcam. That's probably the one I want, right? Let's view that. This is my first time updating all these things, so. All right, cool. So we got a little screenshot of the schedule. That looks super clean. If this is what it looks like, super cool. It'll be interesting. Like, is there a way to filter out what you want to look at? Like, if I only wanted to look at the Legends division scores, can I press Legends division somewhere? Maybe not initially, but maybe far. That'd be cool. What are you teaching this fall at Ferris? Good question. 2 sections of Introduction to Game Design, and then I'm teaching Introduction to Esports and an Introduction to Esports Event Management. Fun stuff. No, this looks really clean. I like this. And then also, like, if you could filter by game, because like there are games I don't really care about. Yeah, it's going to be out with release. Oh snap! All right, let's look at the other thing. Standings. Oh, here's your filter. You can filter standings. That's clean too. Like, this looks clean. I think probably the coolest part of this, like, cleanliness is probably the logos from the schools. I think that just looks so clean, so cool. I love logos. I'm a marketing guy. This is what I do. All right. Super cool. Cool. All right. Let me throw this back on so I can go back to my run of show here and also check Discord to make sure I'm not missing anything crazy. Leaderboards. Gloob says leaderboards too? Shoot. Okay. Super cool. Dope. All right. Next thing I want to chat about here real quick. on my list here, can we audit the class online? That's a great question. I don't know how that works. All right, so not being in academia, there are so many rules and things I can't, like, I'm down to share whatever I got, have people sit in the class and audit it, but I don't know if that's like a thing I got to get approved from someone else. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I can send you the lectures if you want. What's really cool, I mean, they're all brand new classes for the most part. And like the intro to esports, like there are like 1 or 2 textbooks out there, but like, first of all, I haven't like read the new one that came out, and I wasn't ready to like hop into that. And then a lot of them, the other one that I was looking at just missed the mark. So I didn't use that. So what I've been doing is basically, oh, okay, sorry. My music can be softer. Yes, it can. So what I've done is basically like week to week, what I do is like make a PowerPoint with my content, and then I stream it just like I'm doing a show. It's basically just a show like this, literally this. It's like 30-minute lecture. Post it online. I have a quiz. I'll post a PowerPoint on as well. And the quiz is like 5 to 10 questions about my content. And that's kind of the class. And then they have writing or a final, they have projects, etc. But it's basically like me creating the content. And it's week to week, and it's fascinating. It's exciting. There will be things that I already know that I need to change and add for next time, but it's cool. I have my, here, I thought this was on, stream. But the last thing I have on this to talk about, if you look at the run a show here, is Voice. Voice is that's an organization we haven't heard much about. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what Voice stands for again. Voice of Intercollegiate Esports. We talked about this a lot, or we did when it first came out. Basically, like, my thing was like, we just gotta watch and see how it goes. The Voice with Blake Shelton. Different voice. This one's are you singing like at NACE? Oh my gosh, no. Did I sing at NACE? I didn't sing at NACE. Other people sang at karaoke at NACE. I did not. I sang from my chair. Yeah. Massive upgrade to go from Google Sheets to this. Sorry, I'm reading this. What do you watch teaching? Already did that. So they're asynchronous. Yes, all of my courses, the entire major was developed from our online and statewide department. So the major was actually developed to be fully online and asynchronous. And then I inherited, that was what I walked into. They've had students request in-person options for classes, and we might add those in the future. But right now they're all online and asynchronous, which is fascinating. Yes, Chris Bilski did take all the karaoke slots. Okay, all right. I'm running out of time, people. Although I don't have a set limit, I just figured people would probably want to leave after an hour because I'd want to leave. But Voice, let's chuck it real quick. Voice announced, well, at least the folks over at Voice announced that they have 2 new co-executive directors. I'm going to pop this over on the screen here. This was on Jesse's LinkedIn. They now have 2 new people over in charge of Voice. If you know Jesse and Russ, they've both been leading programs at Pace and Pace University is where Jesse is. Where is Russ? Oh gosh. We're just gonna, all right. Well, they're gonna see that I looked. Mount St. Mary's University. That's right. Both been leading that program, those programs over there. They are smart folks. I would put them as like very academic focused. I mean, Russ obviously has a PhD, but smart folks. They are the new co-executive directors of Voice. So they are in charge of Voice. They are voted by the board of directors, which we've looked at the board of directors before. My question, I'm going to swap this back over. Actually, let's look through this real quick. Past 2 years, Voice's main focus has been on uniting university presidents, President's Council. Here's my little spice, like, where's the evidence of them doing anything, to be honest with you? Like, I hear, even from members of the board, like, I hear they're meeting, but that's about it. So, I'm not singing the praises of Voice, pun totally intended there. But they have 2 new people in charge, and those folks are smart folks. I don't have a ton of interactions with them, to be honest with you. But they've been in the space for a couple years at this point. Voice, basically their entire thing is like, we want to unite university presidents and get them bought into college esports. So let's like put them on a special board and make them feel special. But to my knowledge, that has not actually happened. Voice has a Discord server that is less active than my community Discord. But maybe this change will start pumping it up again. I don't know. I don't necessarily also believe that there's a super need in the space for something like Voice, especially for smaller schools. But maybe when we talk about larger schools, research institutions, maybe there's a need. I don't know. But yeah, that's the news that came out. Really not publicized at all. It just popped up on my LinkedIn feed. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. There's a guy named Eric, was the executive director prior. I don't know what happened to that position, to him. But he's no longer at Voice, it appears. And now you have 2 new executive directors. Make an Antor president board. I mean, how long would it take for me to do more on that front than Voice? I don't know. That's mean, right? That's mean. Sorry. Not long. That's my thinking. This is going to get clipped and posted. The people on the board of Voice are people who I don't want to make mad, but I know there's at least one of them in chat. But hopefully I'm just the crazy guy and there's actually stuff going to happen. I don't know. But you also, like, when you get a lot of people who are super smart and big brained in a room, it's hard to get things done because everybody has different thoughts on what should be being done. So yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. What else? All right. This is the time where I say what else, and I see if anyone has anything they want to talk about in chat. But for the most part, that's the end of my run of show. I will be back next Monday with more. And we might have actually a special episode on Friday. But tune into my Twitter for that one. That one will be on the back of some excitement, I believe. From what I've been told. I don't know. I'm a professor now, so you have the right to be slightly crazy. True. I can be crazier once I get tenure. Gotta be thinking. Peach Belt kicks off this Saturday. Hey, good luck, Faust. Good luck. Peach Belt. Woo woo. Represent. Hopefully Florida Southern beats ya. I mean, still mock. I love that school. That was an awesome school to be at. Hopefully they take home a trophy or 2 this year. Big fan. Brandon over there is the new director. Ain't no way. Okay, I don't know. I recruited some of those folks down there. I don't recruit scrubs, all right? I recruit winners. Winners who like trophies. Can you talk to us about those license plates? Yeah. So this first one here, these are the custom plates from Michigan. I'm gonna move it just slightly. I have the esports plate, although when I moved to Florida, another director who will not be named in the state of Michigan put on their calendar, they asked when it expired. And I was like, oh, I'm moving to Florida, so I don't need it anymore. And the day it expired, they ordered the same, they got the plate. So they own this now. They own this plate. I can't get it anymore. So then I was like, now what do I do? And I talked to my boy down in Ohio, Mr. White Boy Booty, Chris Postel. And this is the license plate he has in Ohio. So I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to do that. So now I have matching plates, but I have the Michigan one. And this is the one that's actually on my car. I don't know if that's like secret information, but it's a 5 and 7S. And then you've got another director in the state who just like has ESPRTS without the O, because they could do that. But all the Michigan license plates that are related to esports are being quickly snatched up. So if you live in Michigan or have plans to move to Michigan, maybe you should get a license and lock that down. It's like a URL, basically. This is the early days of esports URLs, but on license plates. if you remember the day when it expires, you should request it back. Oh, can I do that? That would be mean. I'm assuming they will just renew it. But I was in Florida with no plans on coming back when it expired originally. So, yeah, you should request it back 12/01. I'm assuming they renew it before that date. Like I renew my license plate before that date. I don't know. I do know when it would expire because it's my birthday. The 10-year track for K-12 is legit hard. I'm not excited. I didn't even know there was a 10-year in that. That's crazy. I'm changing it right now. Thank you for the best Fortnite stream. Hey, appreciate you stopping by. Come to their house and distract them. Great. I don't know where they live. I could guess what part of the state they live in. We can find it out. Nah, they're good people. No, but I'm probably gonna wrap up here and go get some dinner and then probably play Rocket League later tonight with some folks. On Monday nights, I've been on someone else's stream playing Rocket League terribly. NEC Legends does look good. It does look good. It looks extremely competitive. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Like, if it benefits the schools, if the schools like it, and then if it benefits NECC in those streams. Because I'm assuming, like, I mean, if you put the best teams together, you assume that the viewership will be good, you know? Which I'm assuming it would be. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna head out of here. I really appreciate everyone who stopped by. You all are amazing. I appreciate the subs. I think I got a sub in there somewhere. I gotta find it now. Yeah, sub by Killer B. Thank you, Killer B, for subbing with Prime. I appreciate that. But I will be back next Monday. This is it. I've chosen this time, this 4 p.m. I'm trying to do it where it's like not during dinner and it's not during practices and matches. And I think most of the esports folks have some downtime in this early afternoon. If not, these are uploaded on YouTube. If you have something you want to talk about, join the Discord. You can throw it in show topic ideas. Let me grab that link again. And then also, if you just want to like chat with people, you can go to this Discord. And then also, I have the most popular part of my Discord is a job board where I get emails daily from like 5 different websites of anything esports related, and I go through them, and then I post anything that's a university or college job. I also do some internship stuff that pops up, but I put them in this job board and people love it. I guess it works. People have gotten jobs from it. And then I go through about once a month and then delete the ones that have been filled. So it's every job that's on there, like the link should still work and they're still accepting applications. So it's an active living job board that a lot of people like. So hopefully you like it as well. All right, I'm gonna head out. I'm a peace. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. I might do another workout, maybe run. I don't know. I'm feeling good. You guys pump me up. I hope you guys all have a great rest of the week. And for those of you, do competitions start this week? No, we got another week at least, right? I don't know. If you've got competition this week, good luck. I don't know. I'm retired from competitive. I coach a Rocket League team, but that's it. Like, I'm retired. Check me out on Twitter if you can't get enough of me. All right. Peace, everybody. Peace.